rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. Up on the moon. See the wallet, see a rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. That's what I do. You see the wallet, see a rock star. I'm the first rock star landed on the moon. If the market took a stage dive, I'll LeBron the exchange, this is game 5. I'm in the pools that you can't find. I'm doing private sales on the late night. Doing private sales on the late night. Advising how to build up a chain right. Cap too high, pitch ain't right. When you're dealing with a rock star, play nice. I want 100 X's on the stage right. There's only 100 X's on the stage right. I treat the bull market like a cage fight. I'm just headed to the moon, you a plane flight. You see the wallet, see a rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. That's what I do. You see the wallet, see a rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. Up on the moon. You see the wallet, see a rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. That's what I do. You see the wallet, see a rock star. I'm the first rock star landing on the moon. I was born, first words was 100x. I can make a bull run, you just run a desk. I'm talking 10 or high and not a portion less. I'm talking I retire from the corporate checks. I want you to retire from the office stress. So you gotta get inspired by the token mess. We change the world of style, wanna come with us? One giant leap, this is just a small step. One giant leap, this is just a small step. One giant leap, this is just a small step. Rock stars on the moon, this is a small step. One giant leap, we call that 100x. You see the wallet, see a rock star. See the wallet, see a rock star. That's what I do. You see the wallet, see a rock star. I'm the first rock star landing on the moon. Rock stars on the moon. I know I will be joining you. Know I will see all of you soon on the moon. Rock stars on the moon. I know I will be joining you. Know I will see all of you soon on the moon. It's rock stars on the moon. Rock stars on the moon. Rock stars on the moon. You'll be joining us soon. Rock stars on the moon. You'll be joining us soon. You'll be joining us soon. It's rock stars on the moon.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer: Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Bellina. Welcome to Token Metrics Live. We're being joined by Bill Noble. Bill, how are you?
Ian, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you all for being patient with us. We did have some issues and some delays, but we're here as usual, like clockwork, every single Sunday around 6 p.m. Eastern time. You have me, you have Bill, and we're here to give you cryptocurrency news, analysis, and commentary, and just give you insights in terms of how to invest and trade in crypto, because we know crypto is the future. However, this week has been a very interesting week in investing. So retail traders on Robinhood have really been dictating the flow of the market this week. And the question is, why trade and speculate with stocks on Robinhood when you can speculate and trade with crypto? So we have our trading expert in the house here, Bill Noble, who will basically give us his insight and his thoughts on that. And this is going out to YouTube, Twitter, Periscope. If you have any questions you would like to submit via our AMA, go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. And the Menti code is, just give me a second. I should have that. Menti code is 655456. That's 655456 to submit your questions. Questions coming in from anywhere, global, across the world, Twitter, Periscope, doesn't matter where you are, just go to menti.com, MENTI.com. And the code is 655456. We'll answer your questions in about, I would say, probably 20 minutes or so. give or take. We do have a few things to kind of cover in the show. And with that being said, let's do some quick shout outs. So first up on the live stream was Mai on YouTube. How are you? Then we have Timar on Facebook. Ethereum will eat $9,000. I read it. Okay. Hello, Manuchker from Periscope and Twitter. AIC CEO, Style on Up. James Locker, what's up? Lance Thomas from South Africa, what's up? Joe Ball, let's get it. That's awesome. James, hello from Newcastle, UK. Oh man, that's a throwback. As a kid, I loved Alan Shearer. He was a great player for their team. Okay, that's football. Okay, Kadir, how are you? Pareto Network, yeah, Pareto was an L. I mean, as investors, we just take the L and move on. We can't really speculate or get too much involved in our feelings with every bad investment or trade. David from Florida, how are you? To the Moon Crypto, UK here, that's what's up. Ian and Bill, yes, Ian and Bill are here. Crypto legends, thank you for the kind words, Arnaud. All right, with that being said, very excited for today's show. Bill, how's the market?
Okay, so we have a couple of different answers to this question. Okay, so the first thing that which you alluded to is, how's the equity market doing? Well, we suspected and hoped that crypto would become the new quarantine video game. Okay, that would bring people our way as a way of jumping onto the new system. However, in this upside down world, naturally, it turned out upside down. Then Robinhood and equities became the new game. Okay, because the Fed printed money and all the institutions sold, and then it became, 3 weeks of easy money for retail. Okay, so we all know how that's going to turn out, right? Everybody who's been in crypto, who was around in 2017, knows what happens when you chase low quality stuff. And we all know what we call low quality stuff in crypto. And it happened in equities. In this case, it was bankrupt equities. Now, what does this have to do with crypto? Okay. So unfortunately, if you're looking at your screen and it's all red, all right, just know that that's probably because the equity market has to readjust its delusion of everything going back to normal just because the Fed hit the printing press button. Okay, now I'm sure I'll get to talk more about it later or not, but everything is not exactly rosy in America. And we're not exactly doing this social distancing like people are in the UK.
That's out the window.
Yeah, that's out the window. So, people may be selling crypto now because equities aren't open and it's the only thing available to sell. So that's why it may be red. So if you want me to jump into crypto charts, I can, but I think it's important to say to yourself, okay, if everybody just made a mistake in stocks, that might create an opportunity in crypto. Like, I don't know how big the crypto dip's going to be. There may be no crypto dip, especially, in things like DeFi. They're probably, nothing goes straight up, but there's probably an opportunity here in crypto. Okay. If crypto gets caught up in kind of an equities vortex.
Now, quick question for you. So why are people buying bankrupt companies? I mean, so for example, Hertz plans to issue new shares, even though they're going through bankruptcy, because and they told the judge, or rather, they told the court that their price has gone up so much that they want to take advantage of this, even though these shares could possibly be worthless. So, I mean, why in the hell are people doing this? Is it just speculation, just gambling, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you don't have a job and you're home, right? I mean, we made kind of a joke out of this, right? Like that people would start to get interested in crypto, okay? But there was no FOMO in crypto to pull people in, okay? once you started to have like S&P related FOMO, and then it probably got around that, you know, it was easy money to just buy a stock on leverage and watch it go up. You know, people just downloaded this app and just got busy.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I mean, because people are getting free money from the government, they're quarantined at home. As you said, it's kind of becoming the new video game. And now, one question that does come up, or just more of a comment, Robinhood has crypto, right? So maybe this can naturally segue into crypto, right? Maybe when equities kind of start going sideways, all these traders or gamblers can pivot over to crypto. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This assumes that they don't get dismembered by the volatility in equities, right? I mean, it's really easy to open up a Robinhood account and buy some low quality thing and watch it go up 200% if you're levered, right? You know, your brother does it, then you do it. That all works out really well until leverage goes the wrong way, right? So people in Robinhood who are doing this, yeah, they're new to sitting at home looking at the screens, but you know, they've got 3 days of equity market experience, and they haven't been wrecked. So, you know, if they've got any money left, yes, crypto is a possibility. But
now,
I have a feeling.
Now, so I've pulled up here the Robinhood site. So they sell Bitcoin, Ethereum. Is it Dogecoin or Dogecoin? And then they say they claim some other cryptocurrencies as well. I'm not exactly sure what other cryptocurrencies are available on the platform, but I mean, it is pretty interesting to kind of just watch and see what happens. I'm not sure exactly how many coins they have available on their platform. Do you have any idea?
My understanding was that it was just really Bitcoin and Ethereum was where the liquidity was, you know, and that's what I would stick with. You know, I'm not intimately familiar with what Robinhood offers, but I know that the margin lending that they were doing in stocks was robust, right? So, you know, people were able to get levered up in stocks and probably not levered up in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, well said, well said. Let's check in with the audience and see what they think. I wonder if any of them are trading on crypto on Robinhood. Okay. Hey, what's up, Diego? Great to have you here. Matt, what's up? Okay. Seems nobody at the moment. With that being said, let us know what you think. Do you think Robinhood is good for people to speculate and trade on, especially if they're retail traders, or do you think they're going to get wrecked, or do you think they're better off investing and trading in crypto? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, so once again, if you have any questions you'd like to ask us, simply go to our Mentimeter. That is menti.com. Use the code 655456. That's 655456. And by the way, if you haven't heard, we have 14-day free trial to tokenmetrics.com, which is a online cryptocurrency investment research platform that brings together cryptocurrency price predictions, analytics, and data and research from our team. So meaning that being able to bring the best of both worlds, both the human capital, like Bill, myself, and our team, and also the machine learning and the artificial intelligence to give you that edge when it comes to investing and trading in crypto. And we do plan to launch crypto indices for our ratings within the next month, hopefully by end of the month or at latest maybe next month. And be sure to take advantage of our free trial. It won't be there forever. We do plan to remove the free trial. Not sure exactly when, maybe in a month or two. So if you haven't yet taken advantage of the free trial, be sure to do that right now. All right, so I think let's hop straight into the crypto therapy.
All right, crypto therapy it is.
Yeah, I mean, because this has been a very interesting time in the markets. All right, so take it away.
Okay, so let's talk about a few things that may not always show up on crypto radar. All right. Okay, so you're like, oh my God, what is this? All right, so this is something we talked about on like a premium call that I've been watching. And this is called IAK. Okay. It's an instrument in the stock market that follows a group of insurance companies. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we following that? Well, because we're having a bit of a social disorder problem, right? People are like, hey, we don't really need a police force. And I'm like, oh, really? That's interesting. Okay. All right. So what I decided to do was look at insurance companies, right? And essentially what all this means on the screen is that insurance companies, if things start to get hot in America, they could go down a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's real risk of social disorder in America. Okay. If no one is answering 911, that is going to have a market impact. Okay. Now, what kind of market impact? Well, it could undermine the integrity of the dollar. Okay. So we're tracking this chart, and we have kind of a premium version of this chart for members. But the bottom line is, when it comes to the dollar index, we're watching these colorful sets of lines. Dollar index is just, they take all the major currencies and they group them together so you can just follow this simple index that, is normally trading between like 105 and 90. Okay. And to give it to you as a story, okay, the dollar went down in 2017 when Bitcoin was at 1,500, and the dollar continued to go down and Bitcoin rose to 20,000. In 2018, when Bitcoin was at 10,000, the dollar started to go up and Bitcoin crashed to 4,000. Now, this story I'm telling you is relevant because, especially for our premium chart, this says it too. The dollar went straight down. I mean, look at these red candlesticks. And then, naturally, because nothing moves straight in one direction, the dollar turned around and bounced. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's put the first chart together with the second chart and give you something that you can focus on for next week. So if there's social disorder in America, and either they have to turn on the printing press, or people in the foreign exchange market just get the idea that, shorting the dollar is a good idea. It doesn't have to be a gigantic dollar crisis. Okay. But people could really start smashing the dollar, right? So we're going to watch it. And I think if you're looking at your crypto screen and going, okay, what should I do? There was a 5% dump. I don't know what to do. I think watching things like IAK and DXY can really help you. All right. I could go into more things like bond yields and oil, but I'm not going to do that because I know that's going to give you a headache. Okay. So let's go back to what we know. Okay. This is Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin right now is hanging around on a pretty big line. Okay. This line up in the top left corner where I'm moving that arrow around, this line has been big in the past. And I've got some math that shows June 15th is like a really big deal in terms of like something could happen in Bitcoin, right? So we sit and we wait. Okay. I think something is going to happen in Bitcoin in like the next 2 or 3 days. I think there's a 60% chance that it could be an up move. Okay. Now, you may think that number is low. I actually think that number is pretty good, considering, there's the risk that all these Robinhood guys get blown out. Right. All right. So let's move to Ether. Okay. Now, Ether is the currency, or is the coin, I'm going to say it, we hate the love. We love it, but it doesn't do what it needs to do. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, Ether got sort of stoned at 240, and we just have to sit around to see if it can climb back. All right. I'm not going to lose faith. I'm not going to look at this thing down 2% and go, oh my God. I know it could get smashed if equities go down 10%, but I'm going to give crypto some credit because there's a lot of reasons why washing everybody out of Robinhood actually could push not just retail, but institutions into crypto. Okay. That's something a lot of people haven't talked about. Now, let's talk about altcoins, because that is why we are all here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is Aave. All right. Now, it's tough to get on the screen, but I'm going to try to talk you through this. Okay. What is a head and shoulders bottom? In English, or simply put, it's 3 attempts by the bears to push a market down. Okay. And one of the things that is amazing about Aave is when you have a head and shoulders bottom, you have something called a neckline, which is this trend line you see that's drawn here, right? And what is kind of interesting is, Aave really broke through these lines, right? It broke through 2 big lines, and now it's coming back to retest some of those lines. Along the lines with our theory that, nothing goes straight up. But we're seeing evidence that dip buyers are getting involved in this DeFi space. Okay. And it could be very interesting that people, if they're concerned about Bitcoin getting caught in the stock market problem or a potential stock market problem, they get this. Are you ready? Don't fall out of your chair. Altcoins may be a safe haven. Okay. It may be safer to be in an altcoin that's trending up than it is to be in something that could get dragged down by stocks. Okay.
Right.
But one of the really most amazing charts is Kyber. Okay. Kyber broke through its neckline right here. Okay. It went up, it came back down. It looked awful. It pounded on this line, and then it just shot right back up. Okay. And then look at this decent looking green candle today. Now, so when we're looking at Kyber, the reason head and shoulders bottoms are a big deal, especially ones that have taken like a year to develop, is sort of this concept of the bigger the base, the higher into space, or the harder the bears tried to kill it, the more it can go up. All right. Now, I could give you all the little measurements and talk about the lines, but these blue arrows, okay, they highlight the theory as to how high some of these coins could go if the head and shoulders pattern continues to be valid. Okay. So I know that, if I say the word 100x, everyone gets off the floor worrying about the big coins and goes, what 100x? Okay. Yeah. Some of these coins could do it. Okay. There's, Aave has a similar formation, and these things could go up a lot. Okay. They could go up a lot. Now, the good news for our show is that we're not doing the show at the top of the market with these coins up 20%, because we'll tell you not to FOMO and you won't listen. Because anybody who sees an altcoin up 22% is a human being and is going to FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
These altcoins have now dipped. Okay. And perhaps a dip in Bitcoin are our friends at Robinhood getting an MBA in finance in 10 minutes, especially when it comes to leverage, could actually help people who want to get involved in this. Because I will tell you this about DeFi, right? And I'll spare you the bond charts. I'll spare you the oil charts. I want to show them, but I know it's going to give you a headache. Okay. What is collateral in the future? Like I lend you money against a house, or what? Treasury bonds? Do you trust? Do you want to give the U.S. government a loan for 10 years at 0.75%? The way things are going in America, right? I mean, what's collateral? Well, how about Ether? The funny thing about Ether not moving, even though it's painful, is it's stable. That's what's funny, right? Yeah. The fact that Ether is not moving 20% every day might actually be a good thing for DeFi. So there's a case to buy the dip in DeFi. All right. There's a case that, you know, what's going on in America is not over. Okay. So everyone on Robinhood is operating, you know, it's easy to make fun of these people. You know, in some ways, you know, bless their heart for wanting to get involved and make money. I mean, can you blame them? Right?
You can't. Yeah.
No, they want to make money. I get it. We all get it. Right? Everybody in crypto has, you know, bought the high and sold the low. Right? We've all done it. So, you know, they're getting their trading education. But the thing is, the fact that it's not over in America, the problems, the social disorder, I could talk about it. We could talk about it later or not. But the point is, crypto is something that's going to attract attention, okay? And if it doesn't fall apart, it's a huge opportunity to jump in. So I know everyone hates wait and see. Everyone wants like, oh yeah, buy it, it's going to moon, or sell it, it's going to zero. But what I've tried to do is give you things to look at that if you see crypto turn, okay, or you see these DeFi coins start to base and then move higher, or if Bitcoin doesn't get caught in a legacy, these could be powerful signals that crypto is the new thing. It's just the undiscovered new thing.
Yeah, I mean, well said, Bill. I think, well, hopefully, as people start to get the education on Robinhood, they start to dabble into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and eventually come to the real, I would say, heaven when it comes to investing and trading. Because while stocks are good, we think there's a lot more growth potential in cryptocurrencies, and that's why we're all in on crypto. And hopefully, people on Robinhood will come towards crypto. With that being said, let us know what you think. Are you bullish on Robinhood, on crypto, or any of the altcoins Bill mentioned, such as Aave, Kyber, and DeFi? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, let's check in here with our audience and see how we're doing. Oh man, so many people. I see people from Florida, from Tasmania. Hi Ian, I'm from Florida. Just ordered my hotspot today. When I check the app, I only see 2 hotspots in my little town. Will I be able to get some coins when I start mining? Yes, you'll get some coins, but not as many coins as you can. So I will give people an update on my antenna that I did add on my hotspot. Long story short, my issue is there aren't really many hotspots near me. The closest hotspot next to me is about 5 miles. So I'm planning to get a new antenna, a big antenna, and I'll cover that probably more towards the show, towards the AMA section of the show. Okay, we see here the summer trap is in effect. I appreciate the content. Keep it up. Thank you, Afura Khan. All right. Before we pivot to the next topic, any comments, Bill, on anything we maybe might have missed or we didn't cover yet?
Well, you know, the comment about the summer trap makes sense, right? That's why being nimble is important, right? You don't want to just blindly love crypto, even though we want to. Okay. And there's also the other point that, you know, can you imagine the FOMO in crypto if all these Robinhood people just start chasing it? In other words, if there's a catalyst that gets it going, because that's really what crypto needs. And this is an equities term. It needs a catalyst. In equities, it'll be an earnings report. But in crypto, it's going to rely on things like the value of the dollar or somebody adopting crypto. Crypto needs a catalyst. So can you imagine if these Robinhood people all started chasing Bitcoin and Ether?
I mean, that would be beautiful.
So yes, it could be a summer trap, but you know, you could also have FOMO, right? And frequently, you know, things can come out of nowhere. I could sit and talk here for a half an hour and not be able to predict the next unusual thing, right? Like if I had told you a month ago that, you know, American cities, we're not going to have police anymore. they were going to either fire them or they were all quit. No more police. And would have like disconnected the button. I wouldn't have been able to finish the statement. And this carries over into markets, right? You don't know what the next big thing is that could be up or down.
Yeah, I mean, everything is unpredictable. I mean, history often does repeat, but I would say it typically just rhymes, is the saying, right? So, but even with stuff happening right now in 2020, I mean, all this stuff nobody could even have thought would rhyme with anything that's happened before in the past. All right, so a few other things I do want to cover. Let's quickly go to the forum. If you haven't yet already, please make sure to join the Token Metrics community by going to forum.tokenmetrics.com. That's forum, forum.tokenmetrics.com. We have a growing community, over 400 people in the forum posting questions. We have some people asking questions about Helium, people asking questions about different projects like Tello, masternodes. Somebody has a poll here, different coins people want to invest in. Definitely a good place to come in here and just kind of talk with like-minded people. We also do have the Token Metrics discussion group on Telegram. That's, let me see if I can pull that up here. To go to that, just go to Telegram and just search for Token Metrics in the search bar. So let me pull it up here. Sorry, that's not it. So this is basically it. So Token Metrics, just search for Token Metrics on Telegram. To join, we have over 2,000 people in that alerts channel, and we also have over 2,000 people, almost 3,000 in the discussion group on Telegram. So this is so just search for Token Metrics for the alerts channel and search for Token Metrics discussion for the discussion group. And our team does go in there and pop in to answer any questions, I would say about every day or two. So definitely a good place to kind of talk with the team, either that or the forum. All right, so we do have a question of the day. Let me see. Let me just pull that up here. All right. So question of the day, what's your favorite DeFi token? That's decentralized finance token. The options available: MakerDAO, Kyber Network, 0x Protocol, Aave Protocol, Compound, or Synthetics. Which is your favorite DeFi project? Bill, do you have any favorites?
Well, it's getting pretty tough not to like what's going on with Kyber and Aave, given those charts. Like it was actually hard for me to write and say, because we have like a newsletter for premium subscribers. It was hard for me to say, don't FOMO. So those are good looking pictures if they hold together.
Yeah, I mean, I think DeFi, we're all bullish on DeFi. It's something that's blowing up, and we think this can really do for Ethereum and altcoins in general what ICOs did back in 2017. So whether that happens in 2020 or in 2021, but DeFi is definitely something to keep an eye on. Everyone knows we're pretty much bullish on all these projects here. Most of them have either good fundamentals or good technology, or even both. However, there is one cryptocurrency on this list that we're going to be very, very bullish on. We can't quite say exactly, but for our customers, if you're on tokenmetrics.com, stay tuned. We do plan to put out an investment report, a deep dive on one of these cryptocurrencies. I would say probably by the next month or so. So probably, let's say early July. But we think one of these cryptocurrencies could be one of the next big cryptocurrencies. I mean, in general, I would say technology already seems solid. Fundamentals are better than the average cryptocurrency fundamentals, but we'll have the full review and everything and the in-depth report emailed out to our customers. We're planning to do it by next month, and we think this cryptocurrency right now it's still too early because there isn't really a score yet, but we think it could have top 20 potential, maybe on the safe side. I would say probably top 40 market cap potential. But yeah, I mean, DeFi is the future of Ethereum. The way DeFi goes is the way Ethereum goes. So we think while all the projects here are pretty good, there definitely are some sleepers that people haven't yet discovered yet. All right. And then based on the community votes, people's favorite DeFi token at the moment is Kyber Network, KNC, followed by Maker, MKR, followed by ZRX, followed by Lend, then Synthetics, then Compound. So Compound hasn't launched their token yet. Synthetics and all the others have already launched. If we go to DeFi pools over here we can see based on assets locked up, Maker is basically DeFi. Over half of the assets locked up, almost $1 billion locked up in DeFi, are on Maker. Then we have Synthetics, which has 144 million locked up. Compound has 97 million locked up. Aave 82 million. Then we also had Kyber has 7 million. But Kyber has been blowing up mainly because they're launching staking on Kyber. We did put out an investment report on Kyber about 2 or 3 weeks ago to our customers. Kyber is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you're a customer, be sure to go to the archives to check out our report on Kyber Network. But yeah, I mean, DeFi is definitely something to keep an eye on, and curious to see what other people think. Let us know down in the comments below if you have any of these coins in your portfolio, or whether or not you're bullish or bearish on DeFi. Okay, all right. So let me just go to a forum and see if we can answer any question here during the AMA. Okay, so some of these questions we have answered. Okay, so yeah, so in a way we have answered one of the questions here. So the favorite DeFi platform and why. We've kind of gone through, and the community has chimed in to help answer this question from the forum. Okay. All right, so let's take a question here from the forum. Just give me 1 second. I have too many things popping up here.
I've got to read on the Maker chart if you need a minute.
I'm good. I'm good for now. Just, okay. But thank you. All right. So, what is the best way to buy crypto with fiat? So this comes from a seed. This is a newbie question. I'm currently transferring GBP, which is British pound, British pound sterling, to a Coinbase Pro account. And when I'm purchasing ETH, which is Ethereum, I am then transferring the Ether to Binance account where I'm trading the ETH for all the alts. Is there a cheaper or more efficient way to do this? For example, can anyone just suggest an exchange that has an extensive selection of altcoin trading pairs like Binance, but allows purchase via fiat GBP? Thanks. Okay, good question. So basically he wants to buy crypto on an exchange with lots of alt trading pairs that also has a fiat gateway. So right now he's buying through Coinbase Pro, then transferring to Binance. Honestly, I think that's probably the most efficient way. Now that's kind of one of the downsides of crypto. The on-ramps and the liquidity and the number of crypto trading pairs available is still not strong. Binance and Coinbase are two of the better cryptocurrency exchanges out there. I know Binance does have an option to buy through fiat, through a debit or credit card, but I think they charge you very high fees. So I myself have not done that. I also do pretty much kind of go through the same process you go through. I don't really use Coinbase Pro anymore. I use several exchanges now. I do have Coinbase Pro. I also have Gemini. I also have a Kraken account. So pretty much it depends on what exchange you use. Each one has different needs, but that's probably the best option. If anybody in our community has any better option, please feel free to share in the comments down below. Bill, any thoughts in terms of buying crypto with fiat?
Sure. In a world where, legacy markets are literally being rocked, meaning the whole financial system is being, sort of stretched, you want to stay where there's liquidity, right? Which is Coinbase and Binance, right? The big players. So wherever you can get the most liquidity, the most money movement, and the least likelihood that, you get a Robinhood message that says, sorry, the market's down 10% and our systems are offline. You don't want that.
Yeah. I think that's on point. Okay. With that being said, let us know what you think down in the comments below. We do have a pretty active live stream. Okay, I see some people asking for the Minty code. Okay, let's type that in here. So Minty code, just give me 1 second as I pull it up. Minty code is 655456. That's 655456. Go here, put in that code at menti.com, and your questions shall be answered. All right, let's see. Let me just put that here in the chat for everybody. And thank you all for the kind words. Definitely make sure you subscribe, you share all this with your friends, crypto family. Let's spread the word. Let's get all these Robinhood traders into crypto. So just share this video with them. Yes, Compound is not available yet. Right now, well, it's only available to the team and developers, but they do plan to make that more decentralized. So stay tuned on that. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next question. Just give me 1 second as we pull this up. Okay, so this is, okay, so somebody did a poll. This is M. Hodl. Thank you for that. Okay, hi crypto family. Crypto poll. Will all this quantitative easing and money printing in the US have a positive effect on crypto in the coming year? What do you think? So the options it gives us: a massively positive effect on crypto, none or hardly any effect at all, will have a negative effect on crypto. Bill, what's your take on QE and crypto?
Well, QE is like donuts or Doritos. You can't eat just one. Okay, you just can't, right? So once they start the QE, they can't stop the QE. They can't, right? Especially since they've come out guns blazing. So I have to think, given the survey questions, that I would go massively positive or massive impact on crypto, right? Because either one of two things is going to happen, right? I mean, if they're going to print money and the world burns and crypto doesn't go up, well, it's going to be a short show. Okay. or everyone's got to get their NASA astronaut suit on and, we ride the Robinhood wave to the moon. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that this is our time. It's just a question of maintaining a clear head.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have very interesting take on this. First of all, everyone knows I'm pro crypto. I mean, crypto to the moon and beyond. However, I have been telling myself, you know what? What if crypto and the entire premise of QE is wrong? Because I think one of the downsides of being in crypto, we're all in the same echo chamber and we all kind of drink our own Kool-Aid in a way. So I said, okay, I've read all the books that tell us QE is bad, all the economics books, all the Peter Schiff books about gold and the Fed. I mean, all the crypto books as well. I said, you know what? It won't really make sense if I only read books that are pro crypto or books that are anti QE. Let me find some books that go through the entire logic for the other side, and then I'll be able to kind of make a better analysis. So I did just that. One book I did have on my to read list that finally came out this month is called The Deficit Myth: Modern Monetary Theory and the Birth of the People's Economy. This is by Stephanie Kelton. So she was actually the economic advisor to Bernie Sanders. So that is pretty, I guess, interesting. And you know what? This book, I highly recommend this book. I feel like anybody out there, if you're in crypto, you should definitely read this book. This will, at least for me, it's changed my entire understanding of MMT and my entire understanding of also the economy. Now, kind of basically, long story short, what this book goes through, it basically says that any government or any central bank that issues its own currency can never go broke. So basically, kind of like they can print money to infinity and beyond, almost, but not quite, right? What the book claims is they can print money without really any limits, as long as they can maintain a particular level of inflation. So if inflation is not high, basically, if we aren't going through hyperinflation, then we can always print more money. And I think the best way to kind of understand this is that most people view the economy as a way for people to really balance their budget or their books, right? So in the same way how a household balances its books or budget, but that's wrong. That's completely wrong, right? The government does not have to balance its books in the same manner like a household. The government is the issuer of its own currency. So meaning that the government can never go broke because they can always print more money. Then they go through the examples as to why different governments like Venezuela and Greece have had hyperinflation. And they say that happens because those countries do not have the ability to print more money. Right, so those currencies, those governments pegged their currencies to something else that they had no control of, so they couldn't really use it to control the economy. Very, very interesting book. I mean, I think this could be one of the best books I've read this year, and that's saying a lot since I read about 2 or 4 books a month. Now I'm still pro crypto, but I think we can't just drink the Kool-Aid without really questioning everything, right? So I think what this book has done to me from going through the book this month is now I'm basically going through crypto and saying, okay, what if everything is wrong? What will happen to crypto? And I still think, okay, what if we live in a world where the US dollar can keep on printing money without really going through hyperinflation or collapsing? In that world, what does crypto look like? What does Bitcoin look like? How does Bitcoin still win in a world like that? And I think having that perspective can also give you a better edge when it comes to investing, right? Because how many times have people, I mean, first of all, I like Peter Schiff, right? But we all know he's been saying the Dow is going to collapse for the last 20 years, right? What if he keeps on saying that and 20 years later, the Dow still has not collapsed, right? So, because sometimes you can be right, but it can take a long time to be right. So I think this book definitely gave me a healthy perspective. I'm still pro crypto, but I mean, I can now definitely understand the perspective of MMT. And now I'm trying to kind of see how all this kind of ties into different ways for crypto to win. Bill, any comments on that? Do I sound crazy?
No, actually, my copy of the book arrived yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
Okay. So here's how I would break it down. You are absolutely right. The Fed can print all the money in the world and buy every security it wants to, right? Everybody was shocked when the Fed's balance sheet went from, 1 trillion to 4 trillion. All these guys were writing, oh my God. And the MMT guys are right. If the Fed wants to take it up to 20 billion, they're going to take it up to 20 billion. Okay. But there's just one catch. Okay. Is that it may or may not impact the value of the dollar, but it may impact the treasury bond market's integrity. Okay. So yes, you can print a bunch of money and not have Venezuela occur. However, you can have other disturbances in capital markets. Now, that might give you a headache, so don't worry. How about this? So one of the reasons why I think Bernie's people are so into MMT is because they didn't want the Fed to print money to buy junk bonds, because who does that help?
Nobody.
They wanted the Fed to print money, and instead of giving every household $1,200, they wanted to give every household $12,000, right? Which people could use to pay down credit cards, which is, or buy assets like cars so they could drive to a job, right? So I think that that's what they were thinking. Now, how does that benefit crypto? Well, again, we've already seen the Robinhood phenomenon, right? You know, you give somebody an unemployment check that's 40% higher than the job that they were at, and the next thing you know, they're getting levered up on Robinhood chasing Hertz. Okay. So it's the old thing, you know, follow the money. Where does the money go? You know, I read an article, I read a tweet that said, hey, the Fed's buying every asset on the planet. Why not buy crypto? Right? In other words,
Right.
printing money, you know, it's not, you don't turn a handle and like paper sheets come out. It's digital, right? The Fed prints money and then goes into a market and buys assets.
Right.
Well, some of that money may wind up in crypto. And what stops the Fed from adding crypto to its portfolio? So I get it. You know, we could wake up one day, you know, so let's turn back to your point. I get it. We could wake up one day and go, what do we need this for? I got some guy giving me a free stack of hundreds. I don't need this. I got dollars. I can get a car. You know, I can go to Target and Walmart and party on. So I understand that, but there's something in economics called unintended consequences. Now, they don't have to be bad. This is my final point. So, you know, the traditional old guy, oh God, this is bad. It doesn't have to be. You know, legacy might hold up, but people might go, oh, wow, look at this crypto stuff. I mean, can you imagine what happens if Bitcoin makes a new high through 13,000? What are the Robinhood guys going to do? What are the hedge funds going to do? Everyone's going to have to chase it. Right. So yes, I understand we could wake up one day and nobody could care about crypto, but the money's got to go somewhere.
Right. Now,
it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah. So to kind of add on to that, so I think going through that book, I mean, we could live in a world down the road where America becomes like Japan and just keeps on issuing and printing more money. Because in the book, the example they gave were traders who try to short Japan, thinking Japan would not be able to print more money. And those traders have gotten wrecked trying to short the yen. Now, with that being said, I still do think there is a need for crypto, but I think the entire space as a whole might have to reassess the need for crypto in developing countries where countries can issue their own currency. I think where crypto is very strong, and it's already proven that, is in the developing world, where countries like in Argentina and Greece, where they've gone through issues like that, where they couldn't issue their own currency, where the currency was pegged to something else and it was fixed. So I think that's where Bitcoin and crypto is greatly needed. So I do and possibly see a world where crypto is basically almost like the new currency in those parts of the world. But in terms of the developing world, I think we definitely have to be open-minded to a possibly different reality in a way. All right. I know I may have kind of questioned people's realities with that. I definitely recommend the book. I'm actually pretty glad to see book. To hear Bill also has the book coming, right? So definitely curious to see your thoughts after you've had a chance to go through the book. But hey, what do you think? Do you think MMT in the US is positive for crypto? Do you think it's negative for crypto? Are you unsure? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. All right, so let's now go on to the next topic. Just give me 1 second here. Then we'll go into the AMA. So once again, if you have questions you'd like to ask, just go to menti.com. That's menti.com. Use the code 655456. That's 655456 to ask your questions. All right, so the last topic we have is from our blog. So this comes from the... Sorry, just give me 1 second here. So we had our Token Metrics community fill out the Moon Award survey telling us what they think are the best crypto projects in 2020? This is one of the probably the question that gets asked the most. What's a good project to invest in? So best thing we said, let's have our community help answer this question. So if you go to our blog, we have the results available. So according to the Token Metrics community, the best crypto projects for 2020 and the winners of the Moon Awards go to Ethereum. Ethereum was number one. I think everybody can probably agree with this. I know some Bitcoin maximalists might be pretty upset about this, but I mean, Ethereum, the future is bright for Ethereum. I've kind of posted on Twitter and on videos before. I think by 2030, Ethereum will be king. Ethereum will be the number one cryptocurrency out there. So our community is also very, very bullish on Ethereum. Bill, what's your take on Ethereum?
Okay, so you got to stir up the pot, so now it's my turn. Okay, so I was at South by Southwest a year ago, listening to the number 2 guy from Ethereum. I think his name's Joe. Okay, and Joe asked this packed room, who owns Ether? Every hand went up, and I thought to myself, okay, so if everyone in the room owns Ether, who's the next marginal buyer? If everyone already has it. Now, we all know I like Ether. We all know why. It's making a giant base, and it's eventually going to go a lot higher. But the reason I'm bringing this up is the pain trade in crypto, unfortunately, has been watching Ether sit and the altcoins that take advantage of DeFi on Ether smoke higher. And I think one of the reasons why they're smoking higher is because people don't own them. People as in institutions, Robinhood can't get a hold of DeFi. And that's always the way it works. The stuff nobody owns is the stuff that goes up the most. So yes, I would love to see Ether head for 1100. Okay, but it's going to need a catalyst. Like I was talking about Bitcoin, right? The catalyst in DeFi is simple. No one owns it. Okay, and it's gone up so much that it may have spooked people, and people are like, ooh, I don't know if I can buy the dip in this after it's gone up 40%. Right. So yeah, we like Ether, but if everyone already owns it, then there may be another trade out there that just goes 50x or more.
And that's a perfect segue to number 2. So number 2 on the list, besides Ether, people like Bitcoin. So very interesting that people like Ethereum more than Bitcoin. But I think, as Bill and I kind of mentioned before, Ethereum has lots of potential. But Bitcoin is still a great project. It has good fundamentals technology. But I mean, it's had first mover advantage, and that advantage might not last forever. So it definitely doesn't make sense that people have Bitcoin number 2. Then number 3. So the best crypto projects, according to our community, 3 is Matic Network. Now, we've been big fans of Matic Network since we discovered them back in 2018 in the middle of India. I mean, imagine traveling to India and finding a project like Matic Network, and now seeing how they've grown and blossomed into now a top 100 market cap project. And we think there's still lots of huge upside on this project. We think this project could end up being a top 20 market cap coin, right? So it's definitely very interesting to see how they've really kind of been delivering. They've launched staking this year. Bill, what's your take on Matic Network?
All right, let me bring that up. Okay, so let's talk about Matic from 2 angles. Let's talk about psychology and then technical analysis. Okay. Now, obviously, everyone was in Matic last year, and then they got smoked, right? Unless you bought it at the low here, you basically got washed out in one day, and that really hurt people. So what Matic is doing is it's making a new base. Okay. It's making this head and shoulders bottom. Okay. I did it with arrows instead of with H's and S's just to keep it simple. Right. So Matic has kind of been pushed down by people who are what I call trapped. Okay. But there's a possibility that exists that Matic turns around and starts to go back up again. Okay. Because frequently when you're making that last shoulder, like over here, you know, that's when people go, you know, that's when the bears make their big third push and everybody goes, oh my God, I'm so done with this. Like, look at Kyber and I'm in this maker coin. I'm done. Right. And with Zilliqua, right? Remember when we had the I'm done chart? Okay. And they turned around and went to the moon. Okay. Maker may be going through its I'm done phase, and that might sow the seeds for the next up move. Now, segueing just into something a little controversial, you know, going back to this thing that, you know, if everyone owns Bitcoin, you know, how funny would it be, okay, if 2020 is remembered as the year everything was turned upside down? That seems safe, right? Everything was turned upside down. Like the asinine became true. Okay, so here's a crypto thing that I just thought about one day. What would happen if everybody woke up and decided that altcoins were safer than Bitcoin? What happens if altcoins were like, oh, I don't want this Bitcoin anymore. I don't, you know, this is going to go down in value, or it's not going anywhere. I'm done. Right? It's safer in altcoins because I don't have to worry about Bitcoin tanking with stocks.
You know what? I think we're very close to that, Bill. And I say that because, for those of you who know, I'm very, very bullish on helium. And helium, the price action on helium, even though the volume is, I would say, about 75,000 a day, maybe even more now. But during the dip, there was no dip. And I was pretty shocked because when I saw equities and most of crypto was tanking on Friday, I would think helium would tank as well. But if anything, it kept on going up. And I told myself, wow, this looks like it's really unknown and it's not really being affected by equities or even Bitcoin. And that's what got me thinking, okay, what if there are other altcoins as well not being affected by what's going on? So I think we're getting very close to that, Bill.
Right. In other words, I'm calling it crypto 2.0, right? So your theory about MMT and do we need these bigger coins? Maybe not. Or maybe it's just a matter of taste and preferences, right? Maybe it's just everyone goes, oh, you know what? I'm going to stop eating pizza and I'm going to start eating steak or salad, right? I'm just going to go for something different, right? And the funny thing about the something different is it's very hard for big institutions to get involved, right? It's kind of a pain trade, right? Like if you wanted to put, $1 billion in Bitcoin, you could probably do that, right? If you wanted to put $1 billion in Matic and DeFi, forget it. You couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. Which is really painful, right? Because you got to remember, bear markets, everyone understands that bear markets have pain. What people don't realize is that bull markets have their own pain, right? It's people just MO, people just missing out because they can't get in or they're too scared to get in, right? Like we have to tell the crypto audience to take it easy. But there's a whole group of people out there that are like, oh my God, I'm not involved. Remember, that's the thing about institutions. If you see something going up, if AVE doubles and your manager comes down the aisle and goes, excuse me, Mr. Crypto Trader, are you involved in Kyber? And you're like, no. He's like, no. What? I thought you were a crypto trader. Okay. Mm-hmm. So crypto 2.0 may be something where altcoins or certain altcoins become a safe haven because people are just looking to get out of Bitcoin for any reason, from correlation to stocks to boredom to your MMT book, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because everybody thinks alt season is like a casino. And I don't think that's true anymore. I really don't. Because when this show first started, I was like, oh my God, altcoins, these people are going to get wrecked. Please, if you get your money, take your money, okay. It's totally different now. I think you can trend trade and buy the dips in these coins until you're proven wrong, because it may not be the Fed's money that floods into altcoins. It may be everybody's Bitcoin that floods into the altcoins, right?
Right.
I mean, if everybody just took their Bitcoin and bought, a couple of alts that were hot, that had a decent value proposition, where would those things go? Ian's the 100x guy. Ask him.
Valid points. So going to the pie chart. So going through the numbers again, Ethereum received 55% of the votes. Let me zoom in here. Bitcoin received 37% of the votes in second place. Matic, third place, 4%. Honorable mention, Blockstack and MakerDAO and DAI each received 2% of the votes. So the Token Metrics community has voted. The winners of the best crypto products for 2020 were Ethereum, followed by Bitcoin, followed by Matic Network. Do you think the community was wrong in any of these different coins? Do you have a different list? Feel free to tell the community down in the comments down below. All right. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's now hop into the Token Metrics AMA. So once again, if you have any questions, just go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com and enter the code 655456. That's 655456. And if you haven't yet already, be sure to join Token Metrics by going to tokenmetrics.com. We have a 14-day free trial, and then we have 3 different plans available. All right, so let's see what questions people have. Okay, apologies. Seems people couldn't submit questions until I've opened that up. Okay, now that that's open, let me just check in and see how we're doing with the comments. Okay, yeah, so since some people are experiencing a lag, I would say just refresh. We'll try to go check into it. I know I do have a new router. Not sure if that's could be the issue, but definitely do tell us in the comments below if anybody else has an issue with lag. Okay, Magnus says, loving the show. More often, please. Well, the show is pretty much once a week and it's 3 hours long. So don't think we can do more often with that. We do post daily videos on our Token Metrics channel. Make sure you're watching this on the Token Metrics YouTube channel. We do have 2 channels, right? So if you're watching this on Twitter, Facebook, or on my personal YouTube channel, Diary of a Made Man, make sure you go to Token Metrics YouTube channel, because that's where we have daily videos. We actually post sometimes for the last week or so, we've been posting about 2 videos a week. So if you're not there, you're definitely missing out. And then if you also want more content, I definitely encourage you join Token Metrics. We do put out email newsletters. We've been putting out about 3 or 4 a week. So that's pretty in-depth. And then we also have the professional plan, which has bi-weekly calls. So you have Bill, myself, and our team. And we also have a private Telegram group as well. And you have direct access to all of us. Okay, all right. So let me just find some questions here. We'll try to avoid answering too many token-related questions because most of the tokens are already up on tokenmetrics.com. So you just go there and search for them. If it's not, if a token you want us to research is not up there, then just go to feedback.tokenmetrics.com and just post it there, and our team will go through and try to basically add that to Token Metrics. Now, do give us some time and do be patient. We have a backlog of about 20 projects we're currently researching at the moment, so it does take time for all these projects to get added, especially since we're also creating reports on all these different projects. Okay, all right. Let me see here. Federal Reserve isn't even part of the U.S. government. The whole setup is bizarre. Yes, that is real. Okay, so here's a question I think we can answer. This comes from Lloyd Jones. Thank you for the question. How much does it take to pump or dump Bitcoin 5%? If the Fed has said they will print whatever I need for whatever you need it for. Okay, not sure, because basically, to kind of rephrase the question, how much money is required to pump Bitcoin 5% or dump Bitcoin 5%? Any idea, Bill, in terms of how to answer this? Is it just purely based on daily trading volume?
Well, I think the Fed, does a certain amount of money per day through the bond market. It used to be 85 billion a month. I don't exactly know what it is now. You'll know when the Fed is pumping when stocks are pumping. Okay. So what does it take to move Bitcoin 5%? Well, the old answer was it would probably be like a 1 or 2% update in stocks. Okay. Now I think it could be a 1% drop in the dollar index. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or some sort of integrity problem in treasuries. Like, for example, you can print all the money you want, right? Like the treasury can issue bonds to the Fed, and the Fed can give the treasury money. That's how printing money works, right? So when the Fed backed off a little bit and made the rest of the world buy like 30% of a treasury auction, it didn't go so good. So, Bitcoin can move 5% if everything's pumping, but Bitcoin could also move 5% if there's another catalyst, perhaps something we haven't thought of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely valid points. Now, the issue with crypto and Bitcoin in general, you have so many exchanges that have watch trading. So I know Bitwise did do a report where they claimed that I believe over 90% of the trading volume in crypto is fake. So it does make it pretty tough to assess or even measure how much money is needed to move Bitcoin 5% up or down. But I think maybe if we look at just either Bitcoin futures or maybe just looking at the top tier exchanges like the Coinbases of the world, the Krakens, maybe put Binance in there as well. But basically those exchanges that we all know for sure have lots of liquidity and users. I mean, we know they don't really have a bad reputation for watch trading. Maybe kind of take the aggregate the liquidity across those exchanges and try to measure that. But I mean, honestly, I don't think we can really know. Unless maybe there's a whale out there who's watching this show that's moved Bitcoin 5%. Feel free to chime in.
Right. Well, actually, I was going to say that it could be one big buyer or one big seller. Right. Yeah. If everybody is short and some big guy comes in and buys, it's going up 5% because all the shorts have to cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. With that being said, I mean, is crypto, always manage your risk and always be careful. All right. Let's go to the next question. Okay. Do you see programmable Bitcoin gaining traction through Liquid and or becoming interoperable with Ethereum in 1 or 2 years? Programmable Bitcoin. Okay. I don't think I've heard of that. Is that just regular Bitcoin? I mean, because Bitcoin already is software. I'm not sure I quite understand that question. But basically, I think it's asking if we rephrase this, do we see Bitcoin being interoperable with Ethereum? Now, I mean, we're kind of already seeing this with wrapped Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, maybe that's what he's referring to as programmable Bitcoin. Let me see if I can pull up a chart for this. So this is, if we go to DeFi Pulse and we look at assets, so WBTC, which is basically Bitcoin on Ethereum, has $37 million locked up. For those who don't know, WBTC is basically an ERC20 token that's backed by Bitcoin. So basically what happens is, I believe people send Bitcoin to a custodian, and then that custodian locks that Bitcoin up and then issues a new WBTC token. So similar to how basically a stablecoin is backed by dollars or backed by some other crypto collateral, and that gets locked up, then they issue a token. WBTC is basically the same thing. So, I mean, this is already there. So going back to your question, in terms of when can we see interoperability, we're already seeing it there. Then we also have a project that our team is also doing a report on called Rent Network. If Diego's still watching, I know Diego's been a big fan of this. He's actually doing a node. Let me just pull this up here. Just give me 1 second. So this is Rent project. So they're doing the same thing, right? They're trying to create interoperability across different blockchains. So between Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash, and Ethereum, I believe. And all this is being done through Ren VM. They did have a nice guide on this. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay, maybe that's not it. Okay, maybe it's called Ren Bridge. But yeah, I mean, Bill, any thoughts in terms of interoperability and between Ethereum and Bitcoin?
I love this. One of the things you're going to need for crypto in the future is chains that can talk to each other, right? And you're also going to need interest rates for crypto. We don't talk about that much. Okay. So I've got a group that I used to know in Austin. They're called Unchained Capital. Okay. So they do this kind of sort of like in a human way, they get your Bitcoin like super secure, right? And then they lend you money against it. Right. And it's a question of time before this type of thinking, it's DeFi, but it's a question of time before people start wanting to use their Bitcoin to get loans, and a question of time before, Bitcoin and Ethereum have interest rates, and it could dramatically increase their legitimacy. So if you get cross-chain communications leads to like a Bitcoin or Ethereum yield curve, oh my God. Right. That's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's the future. That's the future for sure. Let me see if I can find that blog on it. Okay. Sorry. Just give me a second here. Because Ren is something that I know has been trending up recently. And I know lots of people, I mean, I think it's also done pretty well as a trade in the last few months. So just give me 1 second. So there's Ren Bridge, there's... Okay, anyway, I can't find it. But maybe somebody out there can just kind of chime in the comments down below. I do see a comment here coming from Gregory. Mikkel, if I'm saying that right. Okay, he said check out Ren BTC. And then James says wrap Bitcoin is not needed anymore. Okay, I'm curious to hear his thoughts for that. But I mean, there are definitely lots of projects out there that are trying to kind of solve the interoperability issue. But the question is, let's say we're able to get Bitcoin on Ethereum's blockchain, right? Through WBTC or through Ren BTC. Then, I mean, do we really need Bitcoin anymore? I mean, Bitcoin really becomes abstracted. And I think that is definitely something people will have to think about, because if Bitcoin becomes just something that's just used as collateral and everything is now done on DeFi or Ethereum, I mean, makes us even more bullish on Ethereum. All right. Bill, any last words?
No, I think that says it all.
You good? Okay.
I mean,
all right. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Okay, all right. Going on to the next question. Okay, all right, so next question. Are the top 3 crypto countries USA, China, and Korea tech-wise? Oh, wow. Okay, so top 3 countries in crypto from a technology standpoint. I mean, I think for sure we definitely have to kind of put America in there. I mean, because of so many American projects. But I think a better way to do this, if we just pull up CoinMarketCap, for example, and we just go through this. So Bitcoin, nobody really knows where Bitcoin was created. Ethereum. I mean, Vitalik's from Canada. He's Russian, but then Ethereum is based in Switzerland and Singapore, right? So it's kind of tough to put that in a region. Tether, I think they bank in Asia, I believe. Not exactly sure where they're based. Ripple, I think Ripple is American. Bitcoin Cash, not sure where that is. Litecoin, Charlie Shrimp. But okay, I think a better perspective is if we go to Token Metrics and we look at projects we like. We like projects like Matic Network, that's based in India. We like projects like Blockstack, that's American. We like projects like Cosmos. Cosmos, not really sure exactly where they're based. I mean, lots of team members are American, but I think in general, from a technology standpoint, America is there for sure. China has lots of projects like Neo, Ontology, and others. But I mean, I guess China has been more like the wild, wild west because of different regulations and different things happening. Or rather, I would say China, the Chinese government has had to crack down on lots of Chinese products because there've been so many scams. Because there was early on there was more of a laissez-faire attitude versus launching a crypto project here in America. Like here in America, like most projects couldn't even have an ICO, so the regulation and the compliance is a lot more stringent. So I mean, I'm not saying there aren't any scams in America, but what I'm saying is it's tougher to operate a scam in America than it was in other parts of the world. Now, but there are lots of good Chinese projects. Korea, exchange-wise and trading activity, yes. Icon as a project, yes, has Terra as well, is also a Korean project. I'm not sure if I would put it in top 3 just purely based on project. I think it's kind of tough to say. Bill, any countries come to mind in terms of top technology?
Okay, well, I'm going to take a different tack to this question. So, I think the Americans and the Chinese have probably got the most blockchain projects. Okay. Now, who's more interested in crypto as money? I would venture to say Europe. Okay. So the question, I'm not answering the question. I'm just talking about who's more interested in crypto as money. I think it's Europe because everyone's tired of the euro because euro is essentially the currency of Germany. Right. And that's not appropriate. That's not always appropriate for everyone, as you brought up with Greece. Okay. I think the Chinese are going to have more blockchain products, but I think the US is going to have more cryptocurrency projects. Right. Because when this lending and banking thing happens, that's going to be a US European phenomenon. Whereas over in China, yes, they can have projects, but is the government going to allow it?
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair approach. All right. So tell us what you think. Do you think in terms of the best countries out there for crypto technology wise, do you think it's America, China, or Korea? Or do you think there are other countries we missed? One country I know I've traveled to that has a great crypto community is Russia. Russia is definitely underrated. I mean, Russia, first of all, is known for having some of the best developers out there. I mean, we all know this from when America and Russia were kind of competing during the Cold War, and Russians were, back then they were sending basically stuff to space. And now those same people are kind of now building software, right? And Russia is known for, I know one of the developer teams for Cardano is actually a Russian development firm. So definitely worth looking into. Outside of that, yeah, I think those are really where most of the projects technology with good technology coming from. Obviously, there are other countries as well, but those are kind of more outliers in terms of products that have lots of well-known projects. Like Russia has part of Cardano, Waves. But yeah, tell us what you think. Have you missed a country? Tell us down in the comments below. Okay, all right. On to the next question. Okay, this is kind of the same question. All right. I got so many questions about DeFi. I'm gonna have to skip some of these. Let me try to find one. Okay, so Ian, are you still waiting for a dip on Helium with HNT, or are you gonna buy around 29 cents? Good question. So my orders are still on the exchange waiting to buy, but I mean, so I definitely don't want to FOMO, but looking at the price action, and I've gone through and done a deeper dive on their token model on how Helium operates. So for those who don't know, I definitely recommend go checking out this article from Multicoin Capital. It's called Utility Token, something like that. Token models. Okay, so yeah, so it's called New Models for Utility Tokens. And honestly, I think, so actually one of the surprising things about this in a way is kind of a tokenized form of MMT. So in the same manner of how modern monetary theory works, they're kind of going through the same thing. And if we skip all the way down here, they call it burn and mint equilibrium. But if you actually just change the terms around and call it mint and burn, it's basically MMT, but with crypto. So the entire way, for those who don't know how Helium works, the token model, there is no fixed supply, right? So in a way, it is kind of an inflationary token. However, they do burn tokens based on usage. So I believe they issue 5 million tokens a month. We'll have to go back and double check that. But yeah, so basically Helium issues tokens, a fixed amount each month, and then based on the activity on the network, right? They burn based on usage. So whenever somebody wants to use the network, right now they're still building the network. It hasn't really launched the ability to be able to pay for the network with the other token called data credits. But once that's done, the entire premise is people will pay, then they get the tokens and they burn those tokens. So that's where you have the whole burn and mint kind of, I would say, token model. And after looking at their model, honestly, I think this is one of the best models I've seen for a utility token. So I'm very, very intrigued to see how this will operate. With that being said, I mean, I definitely do want to buy more, but I don't want to FOMO. I kind of want to think logically as opposed to rationally, even though in a way, one could say, if I'm a long-term investor, why do I care about the price? Well, I'm just, I guess, trying to be picky. But I did buy a second device, and this device I do plan to give to my brother for him to basically mine when once he's back in college. And then I have been talking to Diego and some other people. I spoke to somebody who told me he has 500 devices across different regions of the country, across LA, across Atlanta. He's apparently talking with the team trying to have some devices in Asia once that opens up. I mean, that got me thinking. I mean, maybe that's the business model. Maybe that's the way to go, because there's a term for it called Helium patrons. So if I pull it up here, so basically it says become a Helium patron, own your city. Helium patrons get basically benefits. Right now it's only in the US, and it's only available to people who buy, I believe, 15 hotspots. So what people are currently doing, based on going through the different community forums and the Telegram and the Slack, what they're doing is they buy a bunch of devices, they take them to business owners, so people who have storefronts or just any business with Wi-Fi, or just even family or friends, and they say, okay, we'll buy the devices, we'll install them for you, we'll manage everything, and we'll basically share the earnings, right? So I did reach out to one person, a crypto friend of ours, who's doing that. The person who claims to have 500 of these hotspots already. I mean, that's pretty impressive if true, because there are only 4,000 hotspots available, right? So this person basically has an eighth of the devices, if this can load. So yeah, the 4,191. So if we do 500 divided by that, he basically has 12% of the hotspots on the market. I mean, if that's true, that's pretty crazy. I mean, honestly, I think this can get even crazier, because this reminds me of mining Bitcoin back in the early days, and how people ended up having warehouses and just mining rigs, mining Bitcoin. And I think honestly, Helium can get on that same level, because if we go to their map here, this is basically in 1 year, they have over 4,000 hotspots, and they're about to launch globally. They're launching in the UK, I believe, in a month or two. And then I think once they launch in Asia and everything, honestly, I think this is just getting started, and I'm trying to figure out how I can partake more in this, because sometimes you find a winning investment, and sometimes the best thing to do, as opposed to trying to find other winning investments, is to just double down on your winners. So I'm basically exploring different ways to double down on my winner, and I think Helium is already going to be a winner, just kind of based on, I mean, because you buy the hotspot, you plug it in, within 6 or 12 months, it's basically already paid off, and the rest is just profit. So I think the downside is very, very limited, while the upside has lots of potential. So one of the things I do plan to do, I do have this on my purchase list. So I was going through the forum. It's called a magnetic base for an antenna. Sorry, let me just see if I can pull this up here. So basically, you buy a base for an antenna, something kind of like this, and this lets you attach a very long antenna to your hotspot indoors. So let me see if I can find an example for this with Helium Network. So hopefully Google has something that can